on the steps of Capitol Hill to say they speak for us. And we're here to fight for each other. And it was just such an incredible, it's such an incredible testament to what organizing can do, what inside-outside strategy can do, what that pressure can do. And it's so critically important. And so we're really, really excited about it, and there's a lot of things, and this isn't, people are trying to pit this about, being about landlords versus tenants, or like mom and pops, landlords versus tenants. But the fact of the matter is that this emergency rental assistance, this back pay, is going to mom and pop landlords, and we need time to get it out. And if someone gets evicted, it's going to be really hard, if not impossible, for a landlord that needs that back rent to get it. And not only that, but when you have the Delta variant that is surging, one of the most under-vaccinated populations in this country, this is why I say it's really important not to add stigma and assume that anyone who isn't vaccinated is misinformed or a bad person, etc. Because in fact, one of the most under-vaccinated populations that we have are communities that are at risk of eviction. And the reason for that is because a lot of people do not believe that the vaccine is actually free. There's a lot of fear that people are going to be actually there's a lot of fear that people are going to be charged for the vaccine one way or another. And I mean, how can you afford a surprise bill like that? A lot of people can't. And so one of the most under-vaccinated populations are communities that are most at risk of eviction. You evict all of them and you move forward with mass evictions, Delta variant, all those people go out into the street, unvaccinated, under-vaccinated. The variant can explode, and it affects all of us. And so we need to get this back payout, $46 billion. Out of the $46 billion, $43 billion still has yet to go out. So we need to get that, make people whole, make the mom and pop landlords whole, make the tenants whole, protect people, keep them in their homes, keep people housed, and do what we can. And we really need to also, really confront a lot of the myths about people struggling to make rent in the middle of a pandemic. I mean, some people keep saying like, oh, get a job. Do you know how many states in this country where you can afford rent on minimum wage? You know how many states in the United States where it's possible to pay rent on a minimum wage job? 0. There are precisely 0 states in the United States of America where it is possible to pay rent on a minimum wage job. How are you going to pay first, last, and security on $7.25 an hour? You can't. And so these issues are systemic, but certainly when you have the issue of the pandemic and you have a sudden disruption in your employment or a sudden disruption in the hours that you work or your income, etc., we have to go out and protect people. And so this doesn't just stop with the eviction moratorium. We have a foreclosure crisis that we need to protect, an enormous amount of people and homeowners from, to keep big banks from pushing people out of their homes. And it just goes to show that we are all in this together. We are in this together, and we're here fighting for one another. And I'm just glad to be, with each and every one of you all. And so thank you. Now we have the opportunity to go back to our communities, help people get emergency rental assistance out. Back in New York, we have a lot of work to do too. We have all this other news with Governor Cuomo, but even prior to today's investigation, which he should resign, but even prior to today, his administration was one of the last in the country, wasn't sending out any money in emergency rental assistance until June. Shameful, utterly shameful. And so these governors, there are Republican governors that are not doing their job. There are certainly certain Democratic governors that are not doing their job. They need to get it together, and states and municipalities need to get it together. We have $46 billion in rental assistance to get out to people, and that needs to be our priority. So thank you all so much. I just wanted to give you all an update on that. And by the way, as some people are saying in the chat, you know what else the White House can do? You know what else President Biden can do via executive action and executive order that we need to push him to do? Cancel student loan debt. You don't need you don't need to bypass a filibuster to cancel student loan debt. You don't need a House vote to cancel student loan debt. The President of the United States, President Joe Biden, has the authority to cancel student loan debt. And especially with this deadline coming up to pay those loans back, and the deadline for those repayments to kick up starts in late September. I believe September 30th, that's our next deadline right there. And we cannot take no for an answer for that. We can't take any more of the excuses from that. One of the biggest things that we learned from this is that for days and days and days, the White House said, we can't do it, we can't do it, we can't do it. Oh, now what we realize is when the political pressure ramps up, they suddenly realize and discover the ways that they can do it. And so, you know what? We need to do that with student loans. We have to stop with the dilly-dallying. We've given them enough time. They've checked it out. They've had the time to examine their authority. Now, when student loan repayments start kicking up at the end of September, it's time to turn the heat up. Like, we are done with this, okay? We have the ability to do it. The president has the authority with existing law. It's time to cancel student loan debt. It's time to get people out of a generational hole that they are in. And what it means is that it will be an enormous boon for our economy. I mean, canceling student loan debt, that will help people feel like they can actually have a home at some point in their life. Canceling student loan debt makes you feel like you can even have a kid or a family. Like, how hard is it to imagine building a family of your own when it's like you feel like you can't even get ahead? And so let's put all of these headlines in the past of, millennials and Gen Z are killing the house business, avocado toast, this, that, and the other. Enough with it. It's immoral, and we need to, it is incumbent upon the president to cancel student loan debt, period, end of story. The same way that they're giving a lot of excuses as to why they couldn't extend the moratorium, there's a lot of dilly-dallying around canceling student loan debt, and that's next. So thank you so much. Someone said, I'm just coming on. Is the moratorium extended in all states? So the moratorium is extended for about 90% of all people. You can check out the CDC executive order. But basically, the eviction moratorium is being reinstated for all places with elevated levels of community spread, which is about 90% of the country. If you feel like you need to wear a mask because of Delta, you very likely are in an area where where the eviction moratorium is being reinstated. So it is covering about, from what we know of, 90% of all renters, and that extra 10%, we can ratchet up the emergency rental assistance getting out first. So we need to make sure that relief happens there too. So thank you all so much. This does not happen without everyday people like you being engaged and paying attention and being willing to hold our own accountable. I mean, this isn't about like every time a Democrat is elected, we just forget all sense of accountability. Hell no. This is about we can demand better, we can be better, and it shouldn't be taboo to ask our elected officials to step up, no matter their party, even if they're a Democrat. In fact, I think it's particularly important for Democrats to demand more of a Democratic president, because the Republicans are all, they're all out there doing this like conspiracy theory, bad faith stuff. And so it's really up to us to demand better for people. So thank you all so much. So appreciate it. Hope you have an amazing day. And listen, 11 million people are more protected. So shout out to Representative Cori Bush. Shout out to Representative Maxine Waters, who also led on the bill on this. Shout out to Montier Jones, Jimmy Gomez, Representative Al Green, Joyce Beatty, Ayanna Presley, Ilhan Omar, Rashida Tlaib, like everybody. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Have a great evening. Bye-bye.